Let's bring in our insider, Adam Schefter. Adam, we teased it. Fill us in on the latest with the Cowboys signing.
Well, they signed running back Royce Freeman last night. I don't know that qualifies as all in, but it's all in the backfield for now. And that means that their running backs heading into the draft next week, Laura, right now, are Royce Freeman, Rico Dowdle, and Deuce Vaughn. So clearly somewhere along the way, the Dallas Cowboys will be expected to add another running back at some point in time, but they get one last night in signing the former Rams and Broncos running back, Royce Freeman. And then, of course, there are some contractual issues that the Cowboys also will be dealing with this offseason, with neither player present for the start of the voluntary offseason workout program. Both CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons both stayed away. Both are seeking new contracts. Micah Parsons says it's not really related to a contract. The reason he's not there, wasn't there last year either. Clearly, CeeDee Lamb wants to become one of the highest, if not the highest paid wide receiver in football. Dallas knows it's going to have to pay both those players at some point in time, wants to and is planned to pay both those players. No deal is close with either player right now, so there'll be work for Dallas to do, and they'll have to be all in to get those deals done with those respective players.
By the way, we keep saying all in because Jerry Jones said all in. Okay, let's listen to Stephen Jones' explanation of the offseason plan for the Cowboys.
Everybody can have their own definition of what that means, but I've never not known us to be all in, nor have I known anybody we compete against not to be all in. Doesn't mean it happens overnight, but when you're wanting to sign players like Dak and Micah and CD, then that certainly you have to hold money back if you want to have a realistic chance at signing those guys.
What is your biggest concern, Logan, with the lack of additions for the Cowboys in this offseason?
Look, I don't see all in at all. And, they just haven't brought anything in. Dak is at his best when he has offensive line play. The offensive line is aging, and when they can run the ball. I don't see prime Zeke. I don't see Tony Pollard. So I'm seeing a lack of a running game around Dak. Dak wants to get the ball out on time, and he doesn't have the protection to do it. They got to play CD. They got to play Micah. That just has to happen. They don't have the weapons around Dak. I don't see anything different coming from the Cowboys this year.
Boogie, Logan Ryan ain't lying. Good to see you, Logan.
That rhymed.
Listen, man.
Wagyu.
Listen, I'm the guy that gets beat up about the Cowboys, but always truly keep it honest. And this team is worse, and they haven't made a legit run at trying to win a Super Bowl, in my opinion. And I can't wait to hear Lou with this because he has front office experience. But when you think about Dallas, right, you got the quarterback salary that's at $55 million. You got to pay Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb. And over these years, when you've had an offensive line intact, when you've had a good running game, when you've had weapons on the outside, you've accomplished nothing. So now you're worse, and you were, based on Stephen Jones, you had an inability to make moves for free agents that could potentially put you right back in that conversation in the upper echelon of the NFC and potentially trying to make a Super Bowl run. And herein lies the other problem, because I want to hear Lou. Other teams got better, i.e., the Green Bay Packers. You look at what the San Francisco 49ers continue to do. You look at the AFC side and see teams continue to build. So it's not just about Dallas. It's about other good teams got better in the offseason. And we sitting here talking about how are they going to pay the guys that's in the bill.
You guys have both kind of really hit the nail on the head about with this football team. The Cowboys know, Stephen Jones knows, Jerry Jones knows what people are talking about when they say you're all in or you're not all in. Everybody knows that you would like to re-sign your best players when you draft them and then they wind up coming up for contract number 2. Everybody knows you'd like to go ahead and reward those guys because that means that you wound up drafting the right guys in the first place. So that doesn't count as being all in on CD, being all in on Micah, and being all in on Dak. Every fan in America would be all in on those guys. They're pretty good players. What we're talking about is, are you making meaningful additions to your football team to keep pace with what everyone else is doing in your division, in your conference, and in the league overall? And look, Logan, you laid it out perfectly. Priority number one has got to be this offensive line. Right. They've got one starter on the offensive line that right now they can count on in terms of playing the position that he plays, and that's Zach Martin. Yep. Tyler Smith is moving to left tackle. They got questions at left guard. They got questions at center. And I know they're not going into the season thinking Terrence Steele is going to hold it down on the right side either. Okay, so that's priority number one. Number two, what did Derrick Henry say? Derrick Henry said, the Cowboys never even talked to me. They showed no interest in me.
That is crazy.
So there goes your running game as far as who do you got in the backfield right now. Now, there's some players in the draft. There's some players in the draft that can help them, but we'll see. And the last thing is this. Remember how we have all these conversations about, do the Cowboys have a culture problem? Look, I don't know if they have a culture problem. I'm not there. So I don't really know about that. But I do know this. They got a personnel problem when it comes to playing against the big boys in December and January when the Green Bay Packers decide and the Buffalo Bills decide, we're going to bully y'all. Now, what you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? So now I guess Eric Kendricks is the answer. And that's it.
Ooh, boy.
Lou,
yeah.
Lou, I've been in church.
Let's just leave it there.
Lou, I've been in church. I've been in church my whole life, and I was told to pray when you want something. And I sent praises up, and no blessings came down this offseason for the Dallas Cowboys. And that's what they tell me in church, is that when praises go up, the blessings come down. And it has not happened. Logan Ryan just stepped off the field. He's a Super Bowl champion. He understands what it looks like. I consider Lou to be one of the greatest football minds we have in television when it comes to personnel decisions and when teams put teams on the field. He's able to see them and tell us who's going to be really good and who has a legitimate shot. And to Lou's point, you cannot sit here today or whatever the date is and tell anybody that the Dallas Cowboys are in position to try to make a run at winning a Super Bowl. And what you want as a fan base, what you want as somebody that watches the game and understands when the Cowboys are good, it's better for the league, is for them to at least be in position to have a chance to get there. Right now, today, it does not feel like they are close to having an opportunity to play for a Super Bowl compared to teams not only in their division, in their conference, but in the league in totality.
Okay. This may sound kind of wild, but it really isn't. Look, I would say this. They are worse than they were last year now, especially 100%. If they don't get some reinforcements on the offensive line. 100%. Would you be shocked if the Cowboys don't make the playoffs? I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked, Lou. I wouldn't be shocked either.
That I'm just saying.
And it hurts my feelings so much.
Yeah, and if that happens, imagine all the conversation around all of that. And by the way, McCarthy's contract would be up, so that's another interesting thing. My second thing on my three things is that they do pick with that 24th pick. Going to be interesting to see what they do. And then the third thing is, Marcus, apparently the football gods don't do the same thing with their church like, you know, we do with the real God, because they're not less than you.